Hello, everyone. Welcome to Diego Knows. And today I am going to review Ghostbusters Afterlife, a movie which came out today. It was delayed. It was supposed to come out last year, but with what's going on, they had to push everything back. So it finally came out today. I've been very excited about this movie for a while. I'm a big Ghostbusters fan. I love the original movie, 1984. I think I watched it like 10 times. I was on HBO and then I taped it. I remember going to the theater to go see it in 1984 that summer, and I'd never seen anything like it. It was just so fun. It was, it was advertised as a scary movie, but you had like all these Saturday Night Live people in there, so I knew it wasn't going to be scary. And the special effects were great for the time, and the movie was legitimately funny. I mean, I was a kid back then, so I didn't catch all the jokes. When I watched it again as an adult, I caught some of the other jokes, and I was like, "Oh, okay, now I know what they were going for here." And the movie's brilliant. It really is. It's original. It's well acted. The script is great. The comedic beats just hit. There's a lot of talent in the original movie. I mean, Bill Murray is just incredible. Dan Aykroyd. I mean, all of them were incredible. Sigourney Weaver. They all did a great job. So it was a great movie. Lots of fun. Great soundtrack. I mean, everyone got that summer. They were playing that song over and over again. Who you gonna call it? Ghostbusters. Ray Parker Jr. I know he's a one-hit wonder, but he owned that summer with that song. He really did. I remember when the sequel came out. I was a little bit older. That was 1989 when Part Two came out. I liked it. I did, but it wasn't. It didn't. It didn't bring that much new to the tale. It didn't expand the universe as much. It just presented another villain, another Gozer-like type character who wanted to take over the city. He did it with slime and more possessions, and and that ending, where it shows that like that Michelangelo painting of the Ghostbusters in Roman robes. That was just stupid. That was just, even for Ghostbuster standards, that was pretty stupid. So I didn't like it too much. I didn't like the fact that Dana was now a single mom, and it wasn't Beckman's kid. So it just a lot of it I didn't like, and a lot of people didn't like it. So, but I mean, they tried. It was a tough summer. 1989 was a very tough summer. I mean, you had Batman the movie, you had Indiana Jones 3. You had a lot of important movies coming out that year. I remember that year very well. So it was a tough summer to own the box office. So there was that. They never did get around to making a part three. I know they released a video game, which I've never played, but they did release a video game in 2009, I believe it was, where the original cast members came in and they did that. They reprised their roles. And apparently the video game was pretty good. I haven't played it yet. I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to get around to watching that video game because that's the unofficial part three. A big problem they had with making part three was trying to get Bill Murray to commit to it. And he kept saying, "Yeah, I'll do it." And then he would pull back, like, "No, I ain't going to do it." And just kept going back and forth. And then they got too old and, like too much time had elapsed. And if they were going to bring back Ghostbusters after this much time, like you're going to have to give us a good reason to bring it back, because your fan base is getting older. What's going to bring the new generation in there? How are you going to get the old fans and the new fans to come together? The two demographics to come together to continue the franchise going. Well, their answer for that question was that god awful thing called Ghostbusters 2016. And I might do a separate video on that. I'm not sure. I really, the movie, to me, that movie is so beneath me. Like, to talk about it, I don't even want to give it that much of my life. And I'm only going to briefly mention it here because that was their reboot for Ghostbusters. A lot of politics involved in that one. I mean, that was an election year. I mean, they decided the year before that Hollywood was just going to go full on far leftist politics. I mean, they just decided that's the way it's going to go. And the problem is that in the United States, we have the right to free speech. We have the right to our own opinions. We have the right to disagree with each other. We have that right in this country, but Hollywood, the media, the big corporations are all trying to push this agenda of telling you how to be a better person. And if you don't do what they say, you're going to get canceled. And that really, really took off in 2016. I mean, it really did. Hollywood just started going crazy. And it's only gotten worse since then. I mean, it really has. I mean, this isn't, I mean, I'll talk about politics in a different video, but we all know what's going on. Okay, it's right there in our face. You see it every day. You can't turn on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. Is it Twitter? Oh God, you can't see any sort of media without seeing it in your face. It's in every TV show. It's in every movie. It's in every song. It's in every book that's getting published right now. I mean, there's this agenda that's being pushed. And the only reason I bring this up right now is because that was the thing with the Ghostbusters reboot 2016, is they're pushing an agenda, a far leftist agenda. And if you did not like the movie, then there was something wrong with you. So you're not allowed to not like that movie. You are not allowed to think the movie's crap, because if you say it's crap, if you don't spend your own money to go see that movie, then the problem is you're a bigot. That's the problem. And that's what they were saying. And that's what the movie company was saying. They were saying, well, the reason they're making money is because of all the racists and homophobes and chauvinists out there. And it's their fault. That's why nobody went to go see it, because it was review bombed because of all the KKK and Nazis out there. They didn't want to go see it. That's the only reason the movie failed. Not because it was a piece of shit movie. It's because they're afraid of women. They're afraid of strong, independent females. That's what they're afraid of. That's why they didn't go see it. That's why they didn't leave their mom's basement, and ask their mom for money to go to the movie theater to go see the movie. That's why, and I was just all over it. Because they were talking to me that way and talking to the Ghostbusters fans. I mean, let's be honest here. Ghostbusters is majority, and yes, I know women like it, but for the majority, it's a boy thing. It really is. Okay, just like Twilight. Twilight's a girl thing, okay? Okay, I've never seen a line of guys, going to the theater to go see the opening of a Twilight movie, okay? I never saw a line of guys, okay? Saw a line of girls, did not see a line of guys to go see those movies, all right? Same thing with Ghostbusters. It's mostly a guy thing. No, they didn't say, oh, women are not allowed to see the movie. No, that never happened, okay? But the elements in there, the type of humor that it is, it's about scientists and supernatural, basically exterminators in a comedy with a Saturday Night Live cast. I mean, it's, Dan Aykroyd, and Bill Murray. I mean, these are guy comedians. These comedians they attract women too, but their biggest fan base are men. Like Rodney Dangerfield, he's mostly men. Chevy Chase, mostly men. When you think of Dan Aykroyd, you think of like the Blues Brothers. You think of Ghostbusters. You think of the other stuff that Dan Aykroyd done. The Great Outdoors. Same thing with Bill Murray. You think of Meatballs. I mean, it's guy humor. It's guy humor is what it is, and so it attracts guys. So that's what Ghostbusters was. It attracted mostly boys, and and like college age guys. That's what it attracted. That was the kind of humor it was. That's what it attracted. So that was the fan base. They just got older. These men just got older. They were boys when they saw it. Now they're men, and we were talked down to, by the people that made this movie. Like, they wanted us to spend our money, but they talked down to us. They told us something wrong with us for not liking it. I did not spend my money, but I did see it in other ways. And I did eventually see it, and it was a piece of shit. And everything that I saw on the reviews, all the YouTube channels that sprung up when that movie came out, I mean, they just validated what I already knew. I mean, it was a piece of crap. The only good about it was Chris Hemsworth. Go figure. He was funny. Who knew Thor could be funny? I had no idea Thor could be funny. I had no idea Chris Hemsworth had that sense of humor. I had no idea that he could be that fucking funny. I was shocked. I was expecting at least Kristen Wiig to make me laugh. Now I'll be honest with you, I loved Bridesmaids. That was a Kevin Feige movie. Paul Feig movie. Loved it. I thought everybody in there was great. I thought Melissa McCarthy stole the show. I thought Kristen Wiig was excellent. Maya Rudolph, they were all great. They were all at the top of their game. And that movie was legitimately funny. I love that movie. I watched it over and over again. I mean, I thought Bridesmaids was a very funny movie. I mean, I was cracking up too. I thought it was great. I love that movie. Very talented cast. And I knew that these actresses in Ghostbusters were talented too. I knew. I've seen them Saturday Night Live. I've seen them, Kristen Wiig's hilarious. She's not cut out for everything. She's great at playing Kristen Wiig, but you want to put her in a as a super villain in a Wonder Woman movie. No, she sucks. But you know, the cast was talented. You know, nothing against these ladies. These ladies are at the top of their game. They're just not. They just weren't right for this movie. But anyway, I want to make a review about that. All right, about the Ghostbusters 2016. The point is that we were talked down to. A lot of people did not like it. The media's never going to admit that a lot of people didn't like it. They're going to say, "Oh, it's only racist and sexist and homophobes that didn't like it." You know, but the truth is that the majority of people did not like it. The majority of the fan base did not like that movie. We rejected that movie. That movie made no money at the box office. Nobody liked it, and eventually the media stopped talking about it. Now there was a lot of politics going on with Sony Pictures at the time. Amy Pascal, there was the infamous leak of 2014, where her email got hacked, and all her private emails got leaked out onto the web, and people read it. And there's a lot of it had to do with Ghostbusters, the new Ghostbusters. And apparently Ivan Reitman created he didn't create it. Dan Aykroyd created Ghostbusters, but Ivan Reitman had the rights to Ghostbusters, and they couldn't make a Ghostbusters movie without his permission because he directed the first two. And they kind of found a way to work around that without letting him, have any sort of creative control over the 2016 version. And so they basically stabbed him in the back. They promised him that he'd have some sort of creative input. Him and Dan Aykroyd would, but Amy Pascal, who was the head of Sony at the time, she basically went around them and gave Paul Feig complete control of the movie, which pissed off Dan Aykroyd. But he was contractually obliged to do a cameo, which is why he did. Same thing with Bill Murray, and Ernie Hudson. So they had to do a cameo, okay, and they did. But after the movie came out and it bombed, I remember Dan Aykroyd. He did this talk show interview where he just trashed the movie. He trashed Paul Feig. He trashed Sony for making this movie. He said, I told him what to do. I gave him my notes. I told them I needed reshoots. They refused to do the reshoots. Blah, blah, blah. Test audience didn't like it. They did the reshoots. They lost all his money. And Paul Feig won't be allowed on the Sony lot anytime soon. He said that in an interview. So they didn't like it. The original guys did not like it. This new version, Ghostbusters Afterlife, is the direct rebuttal to Ghostbusters 2016. This is the direct response to Ghostbusters 2016. Like if you remember the Star Wars, the sequel trilogy, when they were doing The Force Awakens, when they were marketing that movie, when they were promoting it, and when it was announced that J.J. Abrams would be directing the new Star Wars, he would be in charge of the new franchise, that he had it all planned out. Well, he was full of shit. But anyway, he was in charge of it. Okay, one of the big marketing tools that they used, because they acquired Star Wars from George Lucas, Disney acquired it from George Lucas. One of the biggest marketing tools they used was they promoted this new Star Wars as a direct rebuttal of the George Lucas prequels, which most of them were not popular. A lot of people did not like Phantom Menace. I did not like Phantom Menace. That movie's unwatchable. Clone Wars was boring, but Revenge of the Sith was decent. It was a good movie. I did enjoy the Revenge of the Sith. I enjoyed it. It could have been better, but I enjoyed it. That was the one I really liked. Clone Wars, Attack of the Clones was boring, and like I said, Phantom Menace was unwatchable. And we all know why. Okay, we all know why. All right. So J.J. Abrams, when he was promoting the new sequel trilogy, which, as it turned out, was even worse than the original. One of the big marketing tools they used to promote it was that this is not the prequels. Okay, there will be no midichlorians this time, and the fans were like, "Hey, no midichlorians! Yay! Finally, a Star Wars fan is gonna make it! Erase George Lucas's mistakes. Let's forget the prequel to it. Let's forget it. Let's get something new." Oh my God, I missed the prequel trilogy. I never knew how much I missed those prequels until I saw this thing they made called Star Wars, the sequel trilogy. But anyway, that's not what I'm talking about today. The only reason I bring it up is because one of the ways they got your ass in the seat was to tell you that this is not those movies. Okay, we are listening to you now, and we're going to give you what you want. We're not going to give you that crap again. We're going to give you what you want. And that was how they promoted this new Ghostbusters. We're going to give you what you want. We're not none of those chicks again. We're not doing that again. Okay, we're going to give you real Ghostbusters. And to prove it, they got the son, Jason Reitman, the son of the director of the original Ghostbusters movie. They got his son to direct this movie. And he did the media tour. You know, he was like, hey, you know, I was a little boy when they were making Ghostbusters. My dad was making Ghostbusters. And I saw that movie before anyone else saw it. And I'm telling you right now, I am the very first Ghostbusters fan ever. You know? And so he brought that clout with him to make this movie, you know? Now, to talk about the movie, let's start off with the bad. Okay, Ghostbusters Afterlife. Okay, way too much fan service. Okay, way too much fan service. Okay, they were really. If it happened in the original Ghostbusters, not the second one, but if it happened in the original Ghostbusters movies, you saw it again. Okay, the only problem, there's nothing wrong with doing that as long as it fits the story. As long as it's part of the story, there's a reason for it to be there. There's got to be a reason for it to be there, and it can't be because everyone remembers it from the last movie. No, that can't be the reason. It's got to be something else. It's got to be organically work its way into the story. Okay, whenever it goes like that, it's okay to pander for fan service. It's okay to do that when it's part of the story, when it progresses the story forward, when you need that scene in order to move the story forward. Then it's okay to do it, okay? But when you just show something as an homage to the previous version, you know, a couple of times you can get away with it, but if you keep doing it over and over again for no reason, the audience is gonna lose interest, okay? And that happened a lot, mostly in the middle of the movie. In the middle of the movie, we kept seeing things that happened in the original Ghostbusters, and we kept seeing it again. And there was no reason to see it again. Like, it had nothing to do with the story. It was just there to get you to remember the original movie. Like, well, we already remember the original movie. That's why we're here in the theater. We already remember that movie. You don't need to give us that movie again. Okay, give us something else. Take that movie as a starting point and bring us forward from there. You know, bring us into new territory in this world with these characters. And too much of the movie was about that. Was just repeating stuff from the original. You know, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, okay? Yeah, we all saw the trailer, the little ones, you know, they're little cute little things, you know? And I'm like, okay, they're there, but they have absolutely no reason to be there. There's no reason to be there. It could have been graham crackers that came to life. Okay, it could have been no edible munchies that came to life. Okay, there was no point of those marshmallows coming to life. Okay, the only reason it came to life was because the big marshmallow guy in the original movie. That was the only reason that was in there. Did not need it to be there. You know, but it was there. It had served no purpose to the plot other than to remind you of the original movie. That's the only reason it was there. Had nothing to do with the story. Paul Rudd, very talented guy. I like him. I like Paul Rudd a lot. He's very funny. You know, he plays the average guy, but he plays, his acting ability is very limited, but he's very successful at this one limited role. He plays the slacker. I know he's like 50 years old, but he looks like he's 30, you know, and he plays the guy who has not reached his potential. Okay. He plays the slacker, the guy that could do something with his life, but he chooses to sit around and watch cartoons and eat Doritos instead of doing something with his life, you know? That's basically his character. That's his career, is playing that guy. And of course he plays that guy here. He played that guy in Ant-Man. He plays that guy, you know? But he's so likable that you forgive him. You hope he reaches his goal, you know? And when you have a character like that, there's not very much you can do with him. Okay, he can't ever be like competent at his job, have a stable personal life, you know, be serious about anything. You know, you'll never see him play like a scientist in a movie where the whole world depends on his science to figure out the solution in the alien invasion. You know, you'll never see him play a character like, because that's a person who's actually acts professional and is mature and knows what they're doing, you know. Paul Rudd will never play that character because he plays the guy that could be that, but chooses to act like a loser instead. Okay, that's his whole career. That's the character he plays. That's what he's made millions upon millions of dollars playing that guy. Okay, so I knew when they cast him in this movie, I knew he was going to play some, you know, professor, or he was going to play some sheriff, you know, who's very good at catching bad guys. He was going to play a slacker. And guess what he plays? He plays a slacker. He plays a guy who is a seismologist, but yet he's like teaching summer school at a public school. Like, why are you doing that? Like, if you're a seismologist, you've got degrees upon degrees. Okay, and he is a good seismologist. He's very smart. So why is he teaching summer school? It's dude, why are you teaching summer school? He's a slacker. And of course he's single because, this isn't the kind of guy that, is going to have a stable love life. He's not a girlfriend or anything like that. He's a slacker. And, and of course he meets the mom, and she's a single mom because we can't have, okay. This is a trope in Hollywood, the single mom. A long time ago, the single mom was a stigma. There was a stigma attached to it. It was like a scarlet letter. Like you didn't want to end up a single mom. That wasn't a good thing to aspire to. Okay, for whatever reason, the husband, usually the narrative would be that the husband left, he abandoned his children. Every once in a while he died, but for the most part he ran off with another woman, or he was a deadbeat, never paid child support, or he left her for someone else, and he just disappeared because he didn't want to raise his kids, and now the woman, the poor helpless woman, is stuck with these kids by herself. It's a sad fate. It is, and that's what it was back in the day. That's not what it is anymore. Now, if you're a single mom, that's a good thing. That's something to strive to. That's a virtue. You're a strong, independent woman. You don't need no man. Okay, you can do it all by yourself. And the fact that this lady is a single mom, the whole time I'm watching this is I'm like, okay, well, where's the dad? Okay, obviously you're not with this guy anymore, but where is the dad? You've got all these financial problems. How come he's not helping you out? How come he's not paying child support? How come he's not paying you alimony? This is stuff that happens in the real world. Okay, how come this isn't happening here? Okay, how come this guy isn't like helping you take care of the kids? It's never mentioned. It's never mentioned. I still don't know. There's one line I think where he's like, "Oh no, he's just a loser." So I'm like, okay, so you date losers. Okay. So you don't like this guy. How come he's not taking care of his kids? It's not expanded upon. It's not mentioned really. It's not. There's no excuse for it. There's no reason for it. The children definitely never talk about it. Well, what about dad? Can we stay with dad? Or, well, why don't we get dad to help us out? Or maybe dad can do, nothing like that. Not even mentioned. And you need to have her a single mom because because as a single mom, then she can date. She can date Paul Rudd, slacker, and we all want to see Paul Rudd on a date, right? Because he's funny. Because we know he's going to be awkward. We know he's going to make jokes. We know, this is what Paul Rudd does. He's better off playing a single guy trying to pick up a girl, than like a married guy in a stable married relationship, raising kids, and not having to worry about a dating life, or worry about getting laid, But that's not funny for Paul Rudd. You hire Paul Rudd, he's got to be like the guy trying to get the girl, trying to win her over on a date, trying to, like this guy's total ambition in the movie is number one, to find out like what causes all the earthquakes. And number two, he wants to raise someone else's kids. He wants the mom to fall in love with him so he can take care of their kids. Because we all know that that's what every single guy wants, to raise someone else's kids. Okay. And that's all presumption. Okay, that's all like you're expected to already be on that wavelength when you watch this movie. Because this movie's not going to explain that to you. This movie's not going to challenge your opinions on these things. It's just going to expect you to go with it. All right. So I went with it. Okay, fine. Fine. Okay. So there's that. And what else? Too much pandering. That's pretty much it. I mean, other than the location, I mean, they're out in Oklahoma, out in the boonies. When I think of Ghostbusters, I think of big city, ghosts attacking, I think of, like Larry King talking about on the radio. I think of those commercials. I think of those ads. I think of, watching the Ghostbusters running down, Times Square, with their proton packs, and, going to these hotels and catching ghosts, in a big major metropolitan city, lots of people. No claustrophobia at all. And now they're out in the boonies. And the movie all takes place out in Jerkwater, Oklahoma, And to me, it's just like, okay, this is like, there's not much going on here. There's nothing going on here. There's a whole car chase in the movie, and there's no traffic because nobody lives there because it's a shithole town. They even admit it's a dump. The town is a little dump. There's nothing going on in this town. I mean, everyone hangs out at the fast food burger place. I mean, that's like the place to hang out. Because there's nothing to do there. So, yeah, I just like, okay, this is the big difference from being in New York. Like if you're gonna do the Ghostbusters, you should really do it in a big city again. It doesn't have to be New York. It can be LA. It can be Chicago, Miami. Someplace there's a lot of people. And it's in Jerkwater, Oklahoma. So I just, to me, the location just wasn't good. I was expecting, more urban. I know it costs more, but that's Ghostbusters. It's got to be in a big city. It can't just be in Jerkwater, Oklahoma. Okay, so those are problems. The good stuff of the movie. This actress that plays the young girl. Why can't I remember her name? But her real name is she plays Phoebe. Is McKenna Grace is the actress's name. This little girl with the glasses and the curly hair. Super smart. She's basically a female Egon Spengler. She's the granddaughter of Egon Spengler. She carried the movie. She really did. Incredible actress. I've never heard of her before, but I'm going to pay attention to her now. Very, very good. She really played this character very well. She hit all the beats. She could be funny, and she underplayed her seriousness, but it was funny. The way Egon Spengler did it. She had that same charm that Egon Spengler had. Like that scene in the original Ghostbusters, he's like, I'm sorry, Ray. I'm paralyzed with fear beyond the capacity for rational thought. He says it with a straight face. She's like that. It's good because I haven't seen a character like that in a long time. She's so serious that it's funny. Like watching her tell a joke is funny. And they're bad jokes. They're terrible jokes, but her delivery is just on point. She's very funny. Very talented young lady. I can't wait to see her again in other stuff. Because she really did carry this movie on her shoulders. I mean, she carried the movie. She was the main character. And I think she did a great job, especially at her age. Around all these adults, and she's like showing her stuff. She's carrying the movie. And I thought she did a great job with that. McKenna Grace, great actress. The story centers around her discovery of who she is, who her grandfather was, who the Ghostbusters were, all the stuff that her mother kept from her. It's her exploration into that universe again. And that was really good. I liked her character a lot. Who else? The other characters weren't really that noteworthy. I mean, Finn Wolfhard's in there, but he plays the same guy he played in It. Okay, maybe not the same guy, but he plays the same guy he played in Stranger Things. He plays that guy, the kid. The kid, the skinny kid. It's like he didn't add anything to it. The generic skinny teenager who's got the hots for the girl. Like he's already played that. He played that in 4 seasons of Stranger Things, and he's playing it again here. He did a slight variation of that in the It movies, where he played the young Richie Tozier, but he's playing Finn Wolfhard. I hope they give him some roles in the future where he can actually play different characters instead of the same ones he's been playing. But he's a young kid. He's got a long career ahead of him, hopefully, and and that's that. Other than that, I mean, there wasn't really too much in there that I really liked. I mean, it was okay. It wasn't bad. It's just that the story is just like it wasn't thrilling and exciting. Like I said, the high points of the movie in the middle were just retreads of what we've already seen in the other movies. Like if it happened in the original Ghostbusters, it happens again here. If someone said it in the original Ghostbusters, they say it again here. Everything from those demon dogs to Gozer, to the shape of the palace, that Gozer lair is in. The name dropping Ivo Shandor, who's also a doctor, performed a lot of unethical experiments. That guy. Well, he's like the main bad guy, but so you got a cameo from J.K. Simmons, but he shows up and dies, and that's it. I'm like, okay, well, the whole town is pretty much named after him. He created it. It's said he created the town. The name shows up on everything, but when the character finally is there, he gets killed just like that. It's like, oh, it was a cameo. Okay, so I thought this was the bad guy. This was the main bad guy because they kept name dropping him, and we heard about him in the original Ghostbusters movie, but we never saw him until now. And now we see him, he's gone. Like, oh, okay, well, so much for that. The dogs show up again, but we've already seen the hands popping out of the couch and possessing somebody. We've already seen the dog chasing the guy outside, and and to possess them. We've already seen all that. We saw that in the last movie. We're seeing it again. Really, there's no other way you could have done it. I mean, you're just giving us the same thing you gave us before. Now, that's the middle of the movie. The end of this Ghostbusters movie was by far the best part. The incredible ending. I got to be honest with you, I was in tears. When at the end of the movie, the three surviving Ghostbusters show up. And let me tell you something, the audience, we were when that happened, when you saw Dan Aykroyd standing next to Bill Murray, standing next to Ernie Hudson. I mean, it was magic. Now, Janine Metzer, she had a cameo earlier in the movie, but she doesn't show up again until the after credits scene. But to see them all standing together like that again was magic, And let me tell you something. The real magic was when Bill Murray started talking, started playing Peter Venkman. Okay, if you missed Peter Venkman, you got him back. Okay, Peter Venkman was only a few minutes, but the old Peter Venkman was back. Okay, and that felt so good to see Bill Murray playing that character again, because he owns that character. That character is wonderful. He's funny. He knows how to make a joke out of everything. He plays off the whole thing with Gozer again. Like, hey, come on, I thought we broke up. Why are you still trying to rekindle our romance? Like that ended a long time ago. Like you can't win me back over now. Okay, he just played it off like that, which was awesome. That's something Peter Venkman would do. That's something Peter Venkman would say. I love that. And like I said, the girl, McKenna Grace, carries the movie. She's the main character. She's the hero. And so when she has to take on Gozer, when the old Ghostbusters fail, it's up to her to take on Gozer. And she's only got the one proton pack. She shoots them, but Gozer is resisting her, fighting her back. And, that scene where Harold Ramis as Egon shows up to guide her as a ghost, to guide her hand. To me, that was just like, I started crying. I started crying in the theater. And I'm sure I wasn't the only one. We all know Harold Ramis passed away a long time ago. He wrote Ghostbusters with Dan Aykroyd. So it was just as much his baby as it was Dan Aykroyd's. And to see him there with his granddaughter, with the character who is his granddaughter, who acts so much like him, it's like, okay, I know where she gets her smarts. She got it from her grandpa. She got her personality from her grandpa. Said to have him guiding her, that was magic. I mean, I can't really describe it to you. You have to see it. But it was so emotional. And then to see this ghost of Egon Spengler standing with the other Ghostbusters. You could see there was a lot going on there. It wasn't just the characters reacting to their dead friend as a ghost. It was the actors. It was Bill Murray. It was Dan Aykroyd. It was Ernie Hudson putting a closure to their, reconnecting with their friend Harold Ramis. So there were several levels here of how they were approaching the scene with an obviously CGI version of Harold Ramis, aged version of Harold Ramis, but they played it with so much respect for Harold Ramis. Harold Ramis was such a talented guy. I remember him on SCTV. I remember him when he was on SCTV. The man was hilarious. I remember him when he was in Taps, Stripes. When they go in the army with John Candy and Bill Murray. I mean, the guy was hilarious. I even remember him in As Good as It Gets with Jack Nicholson. Remember he played the doctor. He directed that movie. He was such a talented guy. Harold Ramis. I mean, he was so talented and so overlooked. God damn, this guy was so talented. He was so good, and his characterization, the way he played Egon Spengler. I mean, nobody else could play Egon Spengler like that. Nobody could. And he just nailed it. The way he performed that character. The way he was so serious, even when he was terrified, he was still serious. He handled it so well. I collect spores, molds, and fungus. I mean, he was just, remember that time you tried to drill a hole in your head? He's like, that would have worked if you hadn't stopped. He just says it with a straight face, I love that about him. He's just great, he keeps it all in, and he did that here. He did that as a ghost, He doesn't speak, but you could see it on his face, you know? Like, he loves these guys. He loves them. You know, but he's going to show it the way he always shows it. He keeps it in, you know, but you can tell he's like trying not to break down, you know, because that's how he handles fear. That's how he handles excitement. That's how he handles, you know, being horny. That's how he handles, you know, being loved. He handles it by underplaying it with the serious, you know. I'm sorry, Peter. I'm paralyzed beyond the capacity for rational thought. You know, I'm terrified beyond the capacity for rational thought. You know, it's like, you know, and he's doing that, you know, and I know it's a CGI version, but damn it, it was so good. So good to see him in there again. I mean, I choked up. I can't help it. You know, my son's sitting there with me, and I'm just like, oh my God, you don't understand. I'm thinking to my son, you know, you don't understand. Like, I know these four guys on screen. I've known them for a very long time. And to see them again, I know they're old now, but to see them again, you know, and looking at each other, reacting off of each other, you know, it's like, it was so good. My God. You know, this is how you do Ghostbusters, okay? You pass the torch to the new generation. We've got new Ghostbusters now. But the old Ghostbusters passed it on to them. Like, okay, we're too old now, but you know what? You guys, you earned this mantle. You earned it. So now we're giving it to you. It's yours now. You know, you earned it. You know, that's how you're supposed to do it. That's how you pass the torch. That's how you pass the mantle. And in that case, they succeeded, you know. So to end my review, it was great. It wasn't a great movie, but the ending was really good. The ending was great. The ending was worth the price of admission. Yes, the beginning was pretty good. The middle was, I'm sorry, it was too much pandering for nostalgia. But the ending was great. The ending was great. I mean, it really pulled the heartstrings. And like I said, this actress, this McKenna Grace, I mean, I hope she goes places because she's got a lot of talent. Very good actress. Overall, I enjoyed the movie. Much better than that abomination that we got 5 years ago. Much better than that piece of crap. So yeah, it's definitely worth a see. Like I said, it's worth it just for the end. Just to see the end again. You know, it's good. Okay. So that's my review for Ghostbusters Afterlife. Let me know if you liked it too. And thank you.